How's it, football family and soccer brothers and sisters? Welcome to week 2, episode 2 of the Panenka Pundit. We'll have a familiar face right here. Ivor, how are you doing, man?
Man, I am doing so well. Obviously, because Liverpool won, I'm super excited for the way that we played this past week, and I was excited to get onto this episode because both of our teams have won, and we've got a very big game ahead of us. So I'm excited. I mean, if Liverpool had drawn or lost, this would have been I would have been less excited for this conversation, but I'm here and I'm excited to share some thoughts.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this episode. And I think mainly because the show off between Big Virg and Big Rom is going to be amazing. I can't wait for it. But before we get into that, let's just quickly recap of the weekend. You guys had a good name. Sorry. You guys had a good game. Routine 2-0. Congrats on that. Man United and Southampton 1-1. It's a pity Louis not here. Our referee, as we call him, or our fact checker. It's a pity he's not here to there's been a few vocal responses about a free kick or something before penalty, before Southampton scored their first goal. But that's how it is. We either should love VAR when it interferes, not choose whether we like it or whatever. But did you watch that goal?
I do think it was. I don't know how much was in there for a free kick there, but it was a good contest. The entire game. I think maybe if Louis was here, he would have differed. But I was content with the results on both sides because Southampton also came out very, very strong. They didn't came out as a team that we're playing against United. They came out full on. We're gonna give them a run for their money. And so when they scored that first goal, obviously United had to come back. So I think it was a very fair contest overall, the entire game.
Yeah, I watched most of the second half, and I have to say, the way that Southampton's men pressed the whole game was fantastic, because everybody was frightened or was excited to see this new, quick football, this fluid style that Man United has now under Ole, and they just couldn't do it against Southampton, and it's because the press was very well managed from Southampton's side, and I think we expected a big win for United after the first week's game, and that we know Southampton have this way of leaking goals or losing 9-0. It's not the best thing to have, but Southampton pulled up, and that was fantastic. And then on Tottenham, 1-0, another one for them. It wasn't a convincing victory. The only goal came from a penalty that was legitimate. That was a penalty. And then Dele Alli put it in the corner. So 1-0 for them. And we talked about the Man City and Tottenham game in the first week. How no one predicted Tottenham would win that game. And you almost felt in a way, well, is something happening at Man City? Is something wrong there? Because they haven't scored in their last 3 games until that game. And then, they come against Norwich City and they sink a lovely few goals past them.
Yeah, I actually watched the game with my wife, and I said to her, I don't know if this is them, just putting themselves, look, we are the champions, don't dismiss us, or if it's just, Norwich, previous season, when they started out with Liverpool in their first game week as well, they lost, and then they never recovered really. So I'm thinking maybe it's more of a trend and a bad reflection on their side versus if you look at, everyone was excited about Grealish's goal, but it was literally, it did nothing to, So I don't know if there's a bit of that in there. So we'll see with the third week. It's for every week, every team, you have to win. You play to win every single game. So nothing taken away from City. You can't even compare the Norwich side versus the champion side.
Yeah, no, that is true. But City are back. Everything looks to kind of get into an order now, except for poor Arsenal. I do feel sorry for them at this point in time. There was a lot of mocks that said, or a lot of tweets that went around that said, well, it's fantastic that Romelu Lukaku can play his first game back against Arsenal, and boy, did he was everywhere.
Yeah.
He dominated that game. I think the interview, Gary Neville said he had the complete performance, the complete striker performance, and Lukaku's words were, yes, he thinks that was so as well. So you feel sorry for Arsenal, who's not in a good patch, that had to face him, Big Rom, back on his debut or on his second debut for Chelsea.
Yeah.
I think that's why I'm so excited for the Liverpool game, man. I want to see what's going to happen between Van Dijk and Big Rom. What do you think is going to happen? Who's going to come out on top?
Do you think, just with that game now, do you think, because James, he's my favorite at the Chelsea side, do you think if he had not played, those crosses and those balls would have gone so freely, or is it just poorly defending by Arsenal? Because he plays this type of Trent Arnold type of football when he's on the right wing, yeah. So do you think Big Rom would still have had so much room and freedom there if James had, because he didn't play in the first week, man?
So far, on that point, we're very lucky to make 3 or 4 rotations every week so far for a game, which is fantastic, which displays the depth that we have in that squad. And to point on that, I think it could have gone the same way if Callum Hudson-Odoi played in that position, because when we want to play really attacking, in Hudson-Odoi, who's actually an out-and-out right forward, he plays on the right wing back then. So defensively, he's not as good as James or as good as Azpilicueta, but I think Reece James is a very, very dangerous package. I think he played a massive role in both goals. Obviously, he got an assist and he got a goal. I think for a right back, if you're a right back and you could get an assist and a goal in the same game or within 35 minutes, that's a fantastic stat. So
that's amazing.
So yeah, maybe I think we usually play from the wide areas, and there's definitely a plan with Reece James. There's a reason he's there. I know Hudson-Odoi can also put in deliveries, maybe not as good as Reece James does, but that's why Alonso played. He's a very attacking left wing. He's not the best defender, but when he gets chosen, then you know this is going to be from one side to the other side fluently the whole time. And that's what's going to happen. And why it worked so well in this case now was because there's actually a pivotal man in the middle, where Werner was not that pivotal man. He's not that hold-up guy straight through the middle the whole time. Yes, he's got pace. He can run around. He's very good running off the shoulder. But those balls that came in were fantastic. I mean, Romelu Lukaku sadly didn't get a second goal from a brilliant header that was a fantastic save from Leno. But the ball came into him. I mean, he's a big guy. If there's a big guy there and you put the balls in,
exactly the way that every time the cross came, the way he stood his ground against a defender, protecting the ball, looking who's next, should I keep the ball, and I don't think Werner could play. He's small. It doesn't look as commanding and authoritative when he's playing there. And you could see from the get-go the way Lukaku was keeping the ball, controlling the ball, holding off defenders. I think that's brilliant on that side.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to our next part. So either me and you somehow have to do a combined 11 without a referee in the game. So on the previous episode, we did one with Arsenal and we had a referee. Louis was the referee. And if me and Brian could not come to a conclusion who's going to take the position, then Louis as the referee would say, well, I'll give it to this person and here's my reasons why. So he's not here. So we will have to fight this out between each other. But I think I think we can put down 2 fantastic teams here. Combined teams. So are we going to start in goalie? Who do you think is going to be our goalkeeper?
That's where a referee is needed. Like from the get-go, I think the way Mendy, yes, he made the right calls against Arsenal, but then again, Arsenal wasn't that threatening. But I think you know exactly what you have in Alisson. That's for me. You know, I mean, he's sometimes a bit iffy. So, and even in this game, he had a bit of those moments where he thought he can control the ball, and then something could have happened. But I think his length plays a big role, and he knows how quickly to come forward. Although Mendy also does that. So for me, if you ask me, I would go with Alisson for that.
Alisson, yeah, I'll give you that one. I can admire that. He's just a little bit more. How can I put this? Certain. Everyone knows he's world class. Everyone knows he's a fantastic keeper. Mendy had a great season for us, and in the Champions League, he conceded only one goal, I think, against him, and one goal was against Pep on the whole Champions League. So, but on that note with Alisson, he's just, you know what you're going to get with him. So I am more than happy to put Alisson in as our keeper. Now on the back, we're going to have 4. So it's going to be a standard 4-3-3, nothing too tricky. We're going to try and build a squad around that. And as if the keeper situation was not tough on us, this is going to be tough because we have to choose a right back now. So I am also a fan of Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think he's fantastic, and you are also a fan of Reece James. So how are we going to sort this out?
I must say, defensively, Trent he struggles. We all know that. That's why there was questions around with the Euros with him and James and in that position. So just defensively, because I think forward running and crossing, I think they on par. But I would go just for defensive purposes. I would go with Reece James.
You are a very mature football fan, dude. I have to tell you that.
no, honestly, because Trent does he struggles defensively. I mean, he's much better, but he still struggles defensively.
He still struggles defensively. All right. So in our right back position, we have Reece James. Now we have to come to our 2 central defenders. And even with injury, he's only played 2 games. You can't really see he's fully fit or fully back as himself. I would gladly give you Virgil van Dijk as one of the central defenders.
For me, there's no doubt about it. Let's put Van Dijk in.
Exactly, but he's almost the perfect defender. I mean, he's good with the ball at his feet. He's very physical. He is a bully, which is amazing. So on the last week's episode, we had to find one defender who was physical and one defender who was good with his feet, and then put them next to each other. With Virgil, you have that already in one player. So that means our next defender. This is a tough one. Who would you suggest someone on your side? I would suggest Rudiger. But would you? Would you suggest someone on?
I had in mind Rudiger. I don't think Matip at this point is there yet.
Gomez.
Gomez. When he played that one game a few minutes, it didn't show me the because I was excited. Gomez, Van Dijk, that pairing, the OG, but it didn't show much, or maybe haven't had proven himself in this post-injury. So I would also, just for speed, Rudiger, when he's one-on-one with a striker or forward, you can always come out on top. He's got incredible pace on him there at the back.
Okay, so things are looking good so far. So second defender is going to be Rudiger, and now we go to the left back side. So this is going to be tough also because Chelsea have 2 very good ones. They differ a little bit in how they play, but they're 2 good options. But despite Chilwell and Alonso being a good option, I would actually still give it to Robertson. I think he's proved himself over and over. He's a fantastic baller. You agree with that?
Although Tsimikas now in his position has given him a bit of a run for it. I know, sweating, not a lot, but I think he must be sweating a little bit. These 2 games. The first one, Tsimikas didn't do that well, but this game now, I think he was voted on a fantasy league. Was voted a man of the match, king of the match for that. So I would go with Tsimikas at this point, just because I think he's hungry to prove himself to Klopp, and it's coming through. He's showing. But if you ask me, him compared to Alonso or Chilwell, that would be a different conversation. So if you say Robertson against those two, he comes out on top, Robertson, definitely. But if you put him, he's inexperienced and he doesn't have even in Liverpool's first game, he couldn't go the 90 minutes. He couldn't go the distance. You could see him slacking. But in the second game, he did come through. So I would agree with you on Robertson there, but I had to put in that Simicas disclaimer
Disclaimer.
Yeah.
If we choose a bench, we can put him as on the bench. All right, so there's our defense. I think that's a pretty solid defense. We have Reece James, we have Virgil van Dijk, Antonio Rudiger, and then we also have Andy Robertson. That's a tough defense right there.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Definitely.
Now, onto the midfield. So I have a proposal for you, okay? Yeah. I'm just going to name the midfield straight away, and maybe you'll agree with me. So for the midfield, we have to put Jorginho and Kante in because they are nominees for the UEFA Player of the Year, correct? But none of them are creative. Not one of them are very creative players. So in that case, I would suggest that we actually put Alexander-Arnold in the midfield. Because I know he has played there before. And I know Reece James has also played there before. Right? Yeah. So that's maybe some nice rotation that we can make. Like if the midfield has N'Golo Kante and it has Jorginho, so one is physical and does the intercepts, the other one's a good passer, a good controller of the game, and then you have your one creative midfielder, which will be Alexander-Arnold. Do you think that would be a good midfield, or would you want to change that?
Yes, I have to wrap my head around it, but I agree with you with Kante and Jorginho. They are solid. For creativity, and I don't know in terms of style of play and in terms of fitting into that position. I would go even with Thiago there, because he's a playmaker. He's a very good, one of the most beautiful. You just want to watch him pass the ball the whole time and creating pockets. But for long balls, I don't know. I haven't seen him crossing the ball diagonals over. I think he's more like short passes and through balls and all. So there, I'm hesitant to go with TAA though. I'm hesitant to go with TAA. So I don't know, but I'm willing to accept your proposal. You accepted my disclaimer for Simicas, and I'm willing to accept. I'm accepting the proposal.
So, well, if you are hesitant about Trent being in the midfield, we can just put him back into the right back position and put Reece James in the midfield, because he plays in the midfield also. He can play. He's played there before. So but he's not a creative midfielder. He's just very physical and bully. I would say, would you like Fabinho in there or not?
No, because when you mention creativity, it makes sense then if we purely choose him on creativity to go with Trent. Fabinho not so much. Trent can score goals as well. Fabinho, he does have a few under his belt, but he takes chances far, but he's not the best for me there.
Look, you mentioned that Thiago short passes, but he doesn't really do the diagonal thing. But Trent can do that. So, and Jorginho is also a short passer. He tries the diagonal, but it's not his best thing right there. So I think with those three right there, I would like to keep Alexander-Arnold in there. If you agree with me, for that purpose.
I'm happy.
There's someone who can give good passes, very fast. He's got good crosses that he can put in, and then he can play freely because at his backside, Reece James will be there, who's just as fast. He's very physical. He can sort out the defense in a moment. So I think that's a solid midfield.
Yeah. So if we have that defense, Trent wouldn't have to worry that much about defending, so he can just focus on getting his creative game on. So I'm happy with it.
That's cool. All right. So now we come to attack. This is going to be a tough one. So
I think let me put it out there that you don't have to. I think the obvious one is to put. I have no bias. I would put Lukaku at number 9 in the middle. There's for me no question about it.
Because you guys don't really play with an all-in-all out and out 9. So if Lukaku's there, and I would say on his right-hand side, Salah would be a fantastic player to be with him. Do you reckon?
I don't know. I'm sometimes worried about Salah's playmaking because he can be a bit. It's the old thing of he can be a little bit selfish. He would rather choose to go using his better judgment over and clear and obvious goal for a teammate. But I would say with pace, he can keep up. He can run forward. He can go the distance. Yes. So I think it's fair to put him there.
So Lukaku in the middle on the right-hand side. Then we have Mohamed Salah. Then I think on the left side, I'm going to nominate Mason Mount. Purely because the extra little work that gets done off the ball. So there are choices. We have a lot of choices for this. We have Mane as a choice for this. We have Jota. Please, we have a lot of Timo Werner, Christian Pulisic is a choice. Kai Havertz is a choice for that. But I just think, all in all, for someone who does something off the ball also and who's not scared of pressing, who's not scared of hitting people or trying to get the ball of him, I think he's a good option there. So I actually like him a little bit more in the midfield because he offers a lot. But for some reason, Thomas Tuchel, I don't doubt Thomas Tuchel. He's answered every question that I had so far. He likes to play on the left or on the right-hand side. So I actually think combined with the out-and-out pace that Salah has, with that physicality that Lukaku has, and just that one player who's a little bit smarter, who makes a better decision, that's a Mason Mount or a Kai Havertz or a Hakim Ziyech maybe, for instance. So I'm not sure out of those three who I should choose, but I would, in this case, just because he won player of last year for Chelsea, he was Chelsea's player of last year, I would say Mason Mount. I would say that. Would you rather take someone else? Do I sound drunk to you? What do you think?
No, in the back of my mind, when I prepared for this, I thought Mane could be there, but his game has been. I mean, he did perform way better. He upped his game in this previous game quite a bit, but he doesn't. Here and there he can stand his ground and be creative, but he doesn't. It's not across the 90 minutes that you would see him. Giving you that unexpected type of surprise. So I don't follow Mount's game that closely. So I'm willing to go with your gut on him.
Okay, so to give you an idea, so I'm going to quote our referee last week. So we were in the same situation with the left side play at. For the Arsenal. So we had a Aubameyang to choose from there. We had a Willian to choose from there. We had the same Havertz. We had Ziyech. We had Werner. We had Pulisic. And then the referee, Louis, said, I think out of all of them, he would also put Mason Mount just for what he's done so far and what he still can do, maybe. So you'll have to take my word if I say he's good in a lot more areas than one area. So it's always strange because I know the Chelsea fans absolutely love Mason Mount, and it's always strange or tough explaining it to someone. And the reason why he's so good to us is that he does a lot of things good. He's not just exceptional in one thing. So a lot of players are very exceptional with one thing, where he does 4 or 5 things very good. That's why he's such a fan, and he'll probably be at the end of the season again the most capped Chelsea player for the whole season. And the reasons for that is because of these things. Plays the most. He plays the most games because he does a lot of work off the ball also. He's not just a forward or anything like that. But that's my call. I think this is a very good team, huh?
Man, I wanna get this. I wanna screenshot this when you put the episode out, and keep that screenshot at hand as we play the game, just to see how it's playing out. But I'm excited for it.
Exactly. No, I'm very excited. On that note, Ivor, score predictions. What do you think is going to happen?
Oh, man.
So this is for the Chelsea-Liverpool game.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I want to be really conservative in saying I'm hoping for a draw rather than a point each, rather than 3 points to Chelsea. Obviously, we all know you want your team to win. So that's not even negotiable. But
that's true.
If it's not that, then a point each. So I would go for a 2-2. Because I think there's going to be a lot of forward running. There's going to be a lot of chances at shots at goal. There's going to be a lot of attempts at goal. I think between the two of them, they wanting to establish some form of dominance in the league, in showing the others, listen, this is probably two of the strongest teams at the moment. Both have won both their first two games. So I think that's going to be a real clash of two kingdoms, and who's going to come out on top. But so I think there's going to be a lot of attempts at goal, but I'm hoping for a 2-2, let's say.
I was thinking the same thing. So I also thought it's going to be a 2-2 game. It would be nice to have a winner, but it would feel fair to me if the outcome was a draw. I said it before, but I'm so excited to see what happens between Big V, Virgil, and what happens against Rom. I don't know who's going to win against those two. I think that's going to be an all-day long battle. But I also think we are going to sit back a little bit more because you guys do like the press. You also like loss of possession, just as we do. But we are also comfortable sitting back a little bit and just playing on the counter. I think Roman, Big Rom, and Timo are going to start alongside each other, and we're going to go on the counter. Majority of the possession, I think you guys might have it. And there's going to be a lot of shots on goal and 2-2. I think that's going to be my call also.
I hope I didn't check up on Andy Robertson's progress with his injury, but I'm hoping he would be back so that him and Trent could, because their running and their pace and their crossing could provide a lot of unpredictability also in the game, which allow for Van Dijk and Matip to just sit back, them going forward, the two of them supporting Alisson there at the back. So I hope he's fine. I don't think Tsimikas is that aggressive and confident in his forward running. So I'm hoping to see more of maybe Firmino coming, starting again. Having the classic front three there, and then bringing maybe Jota on, although he's scoring now at the moment. So both of our teams have a lot on the bench also to add value to that.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic game. And then Arsenal and Man City.
I mean, I want to root for them.
I think realistically it's going to be a 2 or 3-0 for Man City. But a wounded animal is a dangerous animal. Maybe Arsenal manage a way to make this a draw. Maybe they manage to get a win out of it. It would be nice just to calm the nerves and to calm the mood a little bit in the Gunner camp. But I do think City are going to take this one. Maybe 2-0, maybe 3-1, something like that. I think that's going to happen for them. And then on the United front, they have Wolves this weekend, who was actually not too bad against Tottenham this past weekend. So
Wolves did do well. So I think Wolves might clinch a 2-1 or a 1-0. I think Wolves might clinch that one.
I'm going for a 1-1 for that one. I actually agree with you. I think there's a chance that it will be 1-1 or 2-1 maybe for Wolves. But realistically, I think I'm going to go with a 1-1, a draw, because they drew the weekend as well. At the moment, I'm just watching the top four and hoping nobody actually wins convincingly every time for my team's sake. I think we all want to do that, but it's going to be interesting what's going to happen this weekend. So for Spurs have Watford. I think that's a good opportunity for Spurs to take their third winner now. I think that's going to be a 2-0 for Spurs also. And then we are off for a week. It's going to be a break.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important. This is what's going to put so much pressure on the Chelsea-Liverpool game. So there's a high chance that you can go into the break, undefeated, top of the table. Mentally, I think that's a very cool thing. If you come back from your break and you can play and you can go, okay, we're on top of this. We've got this. So I think mentally the game between Liverpool and Chelsea is a big one.
big. It's big. No, it's a big one.
All right. No, that's perfect. Well, that is all the time that we have for today. Ivo, dude, thank you again so much for tuning in, giving us your 2 cents, for being such a humble, mature football supporter and helping us out with this and talking about it. No, it's really cool to have you here, man. And then for people at home, enjoy the football and always remember to chip the keeper.